Hello and welcome. This is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussions. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching.
Huh?
Alright, well, there's the best, that's all we got for the dogs again. They're just sitting there, doing whatever they're doing. The other two dogs, the new ones. Oh, whoa! Hey, we gotta get started off right off the bat with the trigger bunny. Alright, well, hey, thanks Sandy Shirley up there. Got an update in the, remember the Lake Oconee, however you pronounce it. The Gary Jones, this guy right here, says the search for the missing high school coach has ended after authorities found the body of Gary Jones on Lake Oconee a month after his disappearance, according to Putnam County Sheriff Howard Sills. Authorities said Jones was found Sunday by Keith Cormican, founder of Bruce's Legacy, a Wisconsin-based nonprofit that has stepped in to assist with the search over the weekend. The organization used its advanced sonar equipment to locate Jones after only a day of searching. Probably, you know, using those boats like Adventures with Purpose used to do. Jones and Wilson were last seen on February 8th heading out onto Lake Oconee in Jones's 12-foot John boat to celebrate his 50th birthday. Hours later, their boat was found empty, idling in circles near Richland Creek. The following day, Wilson's body was recovered, floating in the lake, her phone still in her hand. I mean, that's just, you know, the information in the case is still just weird. I don't care how you look at it, and there's no really great logical explanation for anything. All right. So then, hours later, their boat was found empty, idling in circles. Before Bruce's Legacy became involved, crews had spent 3 weeks conducting the most extensive search in Putnam County. Isn't it amazing that all it took was the right equipment, and then you can find the body? You know, it's just all that time. You know, so maybe it does have something to do with them both falling off. It just seems so odd. They both can swim and they both died. I mean, what are the odds of that? Just the odds of that alone are kind of low. And then she's got her cell phone still gripped in her hand. You know, the water temperature was shocking, as we remember going over. And don't forget, everybody, it's another night show. Thanks, Sandy Shirley up there. We're trying to keep the momentum going and try to reach the goal on nights. Hopefully we can reach it again tonight. Who the hell knows? It's all just luck. Alright, so the way this went was kind of weird. Like, they both, I think Jocelyn was, they both showed up here and then put the boat into the water right here on this boat ramp. And then Gary took the boat, went underneath this bridge here, and then went over here. In the meantime, Jocelyn went over here to the hotel where they were staying, parked the car, and then walked down here to get into the boat with Gary. And then they make their way out into the water. And eventually, I guess they made it over to this area. I can't remember if it was like right here where the boat was circling right over here. And then her body was found. That was Russell and Shirley Dermond were also found in this lake. So Jocelyn was found over here. So it makes sense, like the boat's circling there, and then she's found there, and apparently he was found in 45 feet deep of water in a similar location. So there you go. Thanks, Sally Cake. Yeah. So that's it, you guys. I guess the mystery, and maybe we'll get the autopsy and see what happened. I mean, it's just so odd that the boat isn't flipped over. Both of them are in the water, and they both died. So, it's possible, I guess, that the engine lurched and it knocked both of them off, like the sheriff stated. But either way, it's just not a normal situation, no matter how you look at it. Great, it really is. I remember this one time. No, it's not. It's not usual. Now, there's no drugs. It's just a strange situation. Don't know what it is. Guess we'll have to wait and see. But he didn't take off. For a while it seemed like maybe he staged something and took off. That's what it sort of seemed like. It didn't seem very plausible that something like that. But, it's like, where is he? His body should have floated to the surface a long time ago. Was he snagged 45 feet down below on something? Because he should have surfaced with the decomposition gases and so forth like 2 weeks ago. And he didn't. So then that's another oddity, unless he was snagged on some branches underneath the water. Thank you, Moofies.
Ocean wave,
We're in
ocean wave.
Maybe in struggle mode again.
Basic generous.
Between wood or something like that. Yeah, this underwater, there's trees and stuff like that. This is a dam where there used to be trees and so forth, but they leave the trees there, and it provides cover for fish, etc. And so underwater, there's likely some foliage like that. With the body sunk, it would get stuck. And it's just odd that it didn't float to the surface earlier. Hey, thanks, Paulette, and Lisa Valenzuela for the coffees. All right, so that's it. That's the update on that. Don't have any more to speculate on. But that's one we've been covering. If you don't watch this channel, you would never have even heard of it. Okay, because everybody else never strays away. I mean, I've been trying to stay with more popular cases more often, but we still cover all kinds of different random things, and that's exactly what this one is. It wasn't really a big story out in the sort of true crime investigative world, but we like to cover all kinds of stuff over here. It gives us a wide range, and we have a lot more. I would say that the people that watch my channel have a tremendously greater breadth of knowledge and things to draw from when looking at different cases. And I always feel like I get better and better and better and better at sort of predicting what's going on in a case because of all of the different cases that we've covered over the years. And it's like every single time it's more experience. I think that's the same way investigators work. They work on a case. First one, they're kind of like, wow, what's going on? They're just raw. And then over, 2 decades after they've covered thousands of cases themselves and looked into them, they get way better. And what we have the advantage of is like we sort of back engineer cases over here. Hey, thanks, Amber Maiden. Appreciate it. We back engineer cases, work backwards, try to figure out exactly what happened, what investigators have, etc., and then we start speculating on that. And that's why when the Brian Koberger case goes to trial, you'll come back and go, damn, those guys nailed it over there on Grant Hughes Investigates. It's not going to be, I think it's hilarious, some of the comments. So maybe later in the show, we'll sit around and we can all talk about all the different things people are claiming out there, because I need to start making my sort of debunking series, okay, where I just go through each element and just, laughable stuff. Cartel hit? Are you kidding me? Yeah, give me a break. Hey, thanks, Cinnamon Sin Freak. I love making videos on cases like the Idaho 4, Delphi, cases that have sort of a lot of different pieces of information, and trying to really work through things and think logically about stuff and make videos. It's hard to make videos on cases where there's really no information and there's not really any sort of unique thought process on anything. It's just sort of, oh yeah, here's a case. Yeah, the cartel hit? What? Where are they getting this stuff? Because maybe one of the parents smoked pot or got in trouble for drugs at some point, so somehow the cartel's involved and went over to Moscow, Idaho, and killed 4 kids. I mean, it's actually humorous because it's so stupid. Okay, it's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my life. It's embarrassingly dumb. Yeah. All right. Anyways, let's just. This was random. It's not in the title, but there's this girl missing in Dominican Republic. I don't know if in the last 10 minutes she's been found or whatever, but 20-year-old University of Pittsburgh student from Shantyville, Virginia, had been reported missing while vacationing at a resort in the Dominican Republic. According to it kind of reminded me of Natalie Holloway for a moment. Sadiska Konanki was reported missing Thursday on the beach, according to Loudoun County Sheriff's Office spokesman Thomas Julia. We now believe there were 6 female students at the University of Pittsburgh traveling in Punta Cana. Yeah, let me just throw her. This might just turn out to be like an accident or something, but it's strange how people in the media are wording it. I'll show you why here in a minute. All right. So this is called Punta Cana. I mean, it's just a place that's not really safe for tourists anymore. Just the whole world's full of barbarians. It just sucks. So somewhere over here, I'll just put that in there. Punta Cana. We now believe there were 6 female students at the University of Pittsburgh traveling in Punta Cana, Julia said, at least 2 of whom, including the missing person, are residents of Loudoun County. Julia said that Konanki, I don't really know how to pronounce that name, to be honest. I think she's Indian, but that last name seems more Hawaiian, is also a citizen of India. So the Embassy of India in the Dominican Republic has taken the lead on the ground, working with our State Department and local law enforcement there. And then the FBI has been briefed on the situation. So that's sort of interesting, According to a missing person flyer published in Liston Diario, a newspaper in Dominican Republic, Konanki was last seen on March 6th at 4:50 a.m., So doesn't this remind you of Natalie Holloway? AM on the beach at Rio Republica Resort. RIA, like Riu, R-I-U, like Rio Republica Resort. So let's just see where that is. But nowhere near there. Hotel Rio Republica. So it's right here. All right. Let's see if there's any 360-degree maps down there. Yeah, tons of them. So this would be like the beach that they were hanging out on right here. Just like that. You know, beautiful resort area, etc. But this is right where they would be. And they got 360-degree cameras all up and down this one. Not live, obviously, but there you go. Go back to that. According to a missing person flyer published in Liston Diario, a newspaper in Dominican Republic, Kanaki was last seen on March 6th at 4:50 a.m. on the beach. And that's her right there. We don't know if there's any foul play or if she accidentally went missing. In a statement, a University of Pittsburgh spokesperson said university officials are in contact with Sudisha's Kanaki's family as well as authorities in Loudoun County, Virginia, and we have offered our full support to find her and bring her home. In an Instagram post, Defense Civil and Dominican Republic Search and Rescue Group said a full day of searching Saturday provided no details on her whereabouts. So there it is right there. All right.
Search and rescue operation is underway for a University of Pittsburgh student who went missing after traveling to the Dominican Republic. The Foreign Ministry Office of the Dominican Republic confirms to ABC News there is an ongoing search for the student who was staying at a hotel in Punta Cana. With more on this, we want to bring in ABC's Perry Russum. Perry, what can you tell us about this missing student and where the investigation stands right now?
Yeah, Phil, there really is this race to find her. She's been missing for 4 days, last seen Thursday morning at 4:50 in the morning on the beach. We know that she was down there with some friends. We're getting a lot of her information from this missing persons report that's being circulated online also by some of the different search and rescue teams who are out there today using drones and helicopters trying to find out exactly where she is. But she's described as being 5'3", last seen wearing a brown bikini, and she was wearing jewelry, including large earrings, bracelets on both wrists, and what's being called a designer anklet on her leg, Phil.
All right, so what are U.S. officials saying about any travel warnings to the region, especially during spring break season?
Yeah, so for the Dominican Republic, the travel advisory is a level 2 out of 4. That means increased caution. So they want Americans to use increased caution.
Yeah, and they're asked for caution, you know.
When they are visiting the DR, the State Department says.
So it says she and, okay, so just listen to this for a second. A University of Pittsburgh student who was reported missing after traveling to the Dominican Republic last week is believed to have died by drowning, officials confirmed to ABC News on Sunday. The student has been identified as Sudiksha, it's hard to pronounce it, like Sudiksha Danaki, a legal permanent resident of the United States, and an Indian citizen. So she was born in India, probably moved over here, but it's legal. She's a legal citizen. She was one of 6 female students traveling in Punta Cana, according to the Loudoun County Sheriff's Office. Kanaki and one of the other students were Loudoun County, Kanaki and one of the other students were Loudoun County, Virginia residents, the sheriff said. 3 Dominican officials involved in the investigation told ABC News that Kanaki was walking on the beach with 6 people on March 5th before she's believed to have drowned in the ocean. At some point, most of the group went back into the hotel during the night, but one person stayed with her on the beach, according to a Dominican Republic investigative police report. But this is all people that went there together. She and this person went for a swim and were caught by a big wave the police report said. The last time Kanaki was seen on the beach on the security camera footage was around 4:50 a.m. on March 6th. So what's weird about all this is, okay, so there's the one person, but then every article, even when they knew this information, they keep saying stuff like, you know, making it seem like there's something nefarious going on. So I don't know if they have other information behind the scenes. I mean, did this person do something? Now it sort of reminds you of that one case that we covered during the summer, that girl that was at a resort for like yoga, remember, and went out on kayaking and had that friend out there, and she just sort of disappeared. And I don't think she's ever been found, actually. You remember that one? It was down in like South America somewhere, I think. Maybe not. That's just what's in my mind. So it sort of reminds you of that one a little bit. Too. You know, sort of like the Natalie Holloway / that case in, I think it was in South America, if I remember right. Yeah, that one's there's never been a result in that one. What was her name, by the way? I forgot her name. That was a while ago. So there you go. All right. Well, I'll make another effort on here, you guys. If you want to help support the channel, we got the Buy Me a Coffees, we got the Super Chats, we got the channel memberships. It all helps support the channel and keeps us moving forward for the month. We've been doing, this month has been a lot better than last month because of all the videos I've been making. And, you know, it's been reaching the goal pretty much, you know, mainly every night. We've missed it once. So that's been good. So I'd like to try to do it again tonight, but you never know. Right. Drown with another person, and there's this other person right there, and this huge wave just comes in, and she dies, and then somehow, like, I don't know. I'd like to hear what she was saying. Yeah, Nancy. That's right. Yeah, right there. Yeah, we totally mapped that one out. We got that one. You know, it's just there's no answers in it. That's the problem with it. But there it is. This one. Very simple. I'm not sure what that is right there. Somebody standing there doing a 3D 360-degree video. But yeah, it was in this lake right here. And I think it was like this. They went out here, and then she went missing somewhere out there. This lake, though, is like 100. I mean, I don't even know. It might be over 1,000 feet deep. I don't know. It's inside of a volcano. So, I guess, I mean, that's kind of where we're at, though, in the other one. Pitt students, let me just go through this one. Authorities in Dominican Republic are searching for 20-year-old University of Pittsburgh student who went missing while walking on the beach in her bikini in Punta Cana while her spring break trip, while on it with her classmates. So all the people that were there, even the one with her on the beach, is a classmate. Our office was contacted on Thursday evening about a missing female. And it's strange, if you look it up, though, every single story is something, you know, is just not right here or something. And it's like, I don't know. I mean, maybe she really did, you know, just went out in the water and a big wave came. And I mean, that's what her friend's saying, right? Doesn't that seem like it's pretty likely? In a statement, University of Pittsburgh officials said they were working with Kanaki's family and local authorities. I mean, you'd have to come up with a theory, you know, some crazy thing like the friend that was left with her on the beach did something, and, you know, I mean, they're all women, too. It's not, I don't know. I think that's basically it. I don't really want to just keep, you know, hammering something away that doesn't have any You know, it sounds like they know what happened to her. They just can't find her yet. It's almost on the same. Where was that last one? Way down here. It's not that far away, really. Pretty interesting. Being too quick tonight. I didn't even see anything. What thing? All right, I don't know if anybody heard me, you guys, but we need to kind of try to keep reaching the goal in here. You know, it gets kind of weird when I say, hey, everybody, if you could help support the channel, and then it just goes. It's a weird feeling, gotta be honest. Let's see. Plus, with it being dark, still assuming it's dark there at 4 a.m., it'd be harder to help someone in the water. Yeah. I was engrossed on my story then. Huh? I don't know what that means. Okay, we got some random cold cases now, you guys. Now, that's when it really picks up in here. Oh yeah, it's gonna be amazing. So this is one I really couldn't find anything in the on newspapers.com for some reason. Nothing was in there. Yeah, you watch, Heather. It's really gonna start picking up here. I don't know, Amber. Yeah, like it. I don't know. Don't worry about it. Thanks, appreciate it. A woman found stabbed to death in front of a South Market business Monday morning. This is back in June of, I think it's actually like June 18th is when something happened to her, but this is when the first article came out. It says, a woman found stabbed to death in front of a South Market business Monday morning has been identified as 25-year-old transient Paula Brien, whose parents live in San Francisco, was identified through fingerprints. Her parents saw her only occasionally during the past 2 years. Thanks, Allie Cake.
Ocean wave, ocean wave, ocean wave. We can do it.
I don't know. Be nice. We don't know what happened to her, said Lieutenant Judy Purcell of the Homicide Detail. A truck driver who was making a delivery at 2 a.m. in the 400 block of Harriet Street found the body, San Francisco police said yesterday. So let's see where that is. That's going to be in San Francisco. Wow, this is almost exactly in the same spot as my father's alibi. Like right down in here. Wonder what that guy was doing after that. I mean, this is 2001 too, you know.
Ocean wave, ocean wave, ocean wave.
Okay, this is Brian. Just gotta put her in here. Hey, thanks, Moofies and Amber Maiden. Yeah, and that article we were reading is actually I think it's like a archive from the San Francisco, SF Gate. Because this is a 2001 article. We don't know what happened to her. A truck driver who was making delivery at 2 a.m. in the 400 block of Harris Street found the body, police said. And that's it. That's all that was in that one. So maybe just like right in these bushes or something. Somewhere right there. Oh! It's Cheryl Moran! Well, that's how you can get to a goal. You never know. You never know.
Ocean wave, ocean wave, ocean wave.
God.
Let's go. Ocean wave.
Got this stupid thing
ocean
called
wave,
trigger
ocean
thumb.
wave.
It's driving me nuts. It's like when I wake up in the morning, my thumb is stuck and it goes and it hurts like hell. So I got to get these steroid shots put into the thumb down in like the palm area. It's kind of weird. Thanks, Cheryl, and thank you, Amber Maiden and Moofies and Alley Cake. Very cool. All right. So then, that was in 2001, that last article. And then we have all the way back into, let's see, and then it goes to 2011. San Francisco police seeks public help in cold case murder. Again, a short article, but at least there's something. Police are seeking the public's help in solving the gruesome 2001 stabbing death of a 25-year-old woman in the south of Market District. Paula Brien's body was found at 455 Harriet Street on June 18th at about 2 a.m. A truck driver making delivery found her body and called the cops. Oh, come on, Cheryl. What's going on? You're being, that's amazing. Thank you. And did GSU PM get one? And the answer is no. Oh, but there's GSU PM right there. Oh, jeez. Well, thank you, guys. Jeez. I thought I had no shot tonight. Thank you. Let's see. We're almost at the goal. Like 2 more memberships gifted, or anything, and then at least I'll be able to donate my 5 memberships. Anyways, thank you guys. Wow, that's incredibly kind there. Thank you, GSU PM, with your. We'll have to wait for that music to be playing here in a minute. Let's see. So feel free, Gray. Mine has come back a couple times, but settles down. Mine never settles down. It gets worse and worse and worse and worse. So I don't know how it gets. It never gets any better. It always keeps getting worse. Very strange thing, though, to be honest. When I got the steroid shot in my hand the last time, it actually cured it for a while, and then it came back. So I don't know. There we go. Thank you. Wow, very cool, very cool. All right. Thanks, GSU PM. And also Cheryl Moran. All right, so Paula Brien's body was found at 455 Harriet Street. 455 Harriet Street. So now we actually have the precise address. We don't need the... Okay, right there. All right. So maybe that's the same lot, but... No, that's Harriet over here. Interesting. So Harriet's this back street, so it is like right back here. Man, that's crazy. Is there a vehicle? Yeah, look at that. We even have street view on this alley. And look at that. It's like, you could see a truck coming back here to delivery right back here, right? And her body was just found back here. I bet you it was found like right over here, something like that. Not just sitting out on the ground, but I bet it was like around this corner over here. Okay. And then Brien was last seen leaving a bar at 6th and Market. So let's go to there, see where she left from. 6th and Market, San Francisco. Ah, so it's not far from there. That's Market Street and 6th Street. So let's see, maybe that's a bar right there. That looks like a like a bank or something. Like Mean Girls, maybe? Oh, that's a movie theater. I don't know. Probably somewhere. We'll just put a pin. I mean, it doesn't really matter if it's the exact. I think I have more articles. We might be upgrading this to a different location, but bar. All right. So she was last seen just right in that area, and then found. Hey, look how close this is to the stuff in my father's alibi case. I mean, look at that. That's crazy. Like, that's where the mother lived with her, right in that spot there. And this was back in 2001. So I'm just wondering, I mean, was this dad, did he, wouldn't that be weird if he did more things than just kill the mother? It's wild. I mean, it's just right in the same exact spot. So anyways, this is the bar right here, and then here is where her body was found. So I don't know if this lady here was a sex worker or what. But also, if you remember, in my father's alibi, the father said that she was a sex worker. They accused the mom of being that. So maybe he had some animosity. All right, and then this is also in 2011 in newspapers.com. It's like the only mention that I could find. It says, police have released a sketch of the suspect. So you look like that. Here, let me go check something out. Hold on. I'm going to go look at something. In the Nancy Galvani case. I'm just looking for the picture. I have a picture of the husband. I don't know if he quite looks like that, but this guy has glasses. That would be pretty crazy, though, wouldn't it? I mean, man. Anyways, that's the sketch right there. The murder of a woman. Brien was last seen leaving a bar at 6th and Mission Streets just after midnight and found murder at 455 Harriet Street 2 hours later. So just 2 hours later it was found right there. The suspect is described by police as 6 foot, 200 pounds. That's probably not him then. 35 to 40 years old. Black hair and with a tattoo of a skull and crossbones on his right upper arm. He was seen driving a small red vehicle. Anyone with information is asked to contact the homicide detail. All right, and then let's get back to the next page. The next one is 2022, July 12th article. And at least somebody's covering it, like that's important right there. What happened? I keep trying to get you the membership. I know. I don't know why it's so hard to get GSU PM a membership. We've had it on here many, many, many times. That where, you know, somebody shows up and we go, hey, you know, they can't afford to be a member, and within 5 or 10 giftings they've already got it. You know, it's like, it's not even difficult. Like, you've had hundreds of attempts. Family wants answers after 25 years. 25-year-old single mother killed in San Francisco 21 years ago. Relatives said they've waited more than 2 decades for answers and justice. My sister was so funny, so down to earth, Carrie Walker said on Monday. She and Katie Villanueva are the younger sisters of Paula Brien, whose homicide has been a cold case with San Francisco for police for 21 years. Hey, thanks, Kami. Let's see. So police said Brian was last seen around midnight on June 18, 2001 in front of a bar that's no longer there at the corner of 6th and Mission Streets. Investigators said she got into a red sedan with a man with light-colored hair around 6 feet tall. How do you know how tall somebody is if they're sitting in a car? With a muscular build. They said he had an East Coast accent. So maybe he was walking around. He like met her in the bar and they walked out together. Something like that. Hey, thanks, Amber Maiden. Very cool. And hold on. I'm going to gift some now. If you guys want to keep getting memberships, try to get GSU PM one, that'd be good. And I just did 5, so who got... Oh, God! Right after I gifted 5, GSU PM shows up right below it. And I was so pumped, but she was just commenting. Oh, you tricked me, GSU PM. Not cool. I put that 5 memberships, and she's the comment right below mine. I was like, oh, and then nothing. Didn't work. Crazy. That was so funny, though. I thought I nailed it. I thought I got it. All right. She was the most protective older sister. Always made sure I had someone walk me home from school every day, said Villanueva. Police said Brian was last seen around midnight on June 18th in front of a bar that's no longer there at the corner of 6th and Mission Streets. Investigators said she got into a red sedan with a man with light-colored hair, around 6 feet tall, with muscular build. They said he had an East Coast accent and tattoo on his right arm. There were a couple of people they detained and talked to that fit the description but never panned out, said Dan Cunningham, an investigator with San Francisco Police Department Homicide Cold Case Unit. Cunningham said less than 2 hours later, her body was discovered nearby on Harriet Street by a truck driver making a delivery. The victim had significant injuries on her. We know she was in the company, and I think she was actually stabbed to death. We know she was in the company of others some hours before she was discovered, said investigator Daniel Dedit, who worked alongside Cunningham on this case. Here, I'll show you a picture of her. She looks different in a couple different pictures that I've seen. So that's her right there. Both of these are her. She looks a lot healthier and happy, different type here. And that's her later, on the right. I don't know if you can see that or not, but yeah, right there. So Thank you, Wendy Woobles. Very cool, very cool. So, I mean, look at this $100,000 reward, you guys. I mean, that is incredible number for, you know, some kind of a, they probably look at her as a sex worker, transient type. And I don't know if the family members put that reward in there, but, I mean, I don't know for certain. I'm just saying they said she's a transient, whatever the hell that means, right? In this context, I have no idea. The victim had significant injuries on her. We know she was in the company of others some hours before she was discovered, said investigator Daniel Dedot, who worked alongside Cunningham on the case. Police are now offering a new reward of $100,000. That's pretty astounding. You got to admit, like that is a huge number for a case like this. For information leading to the identification, arrest, and conviction of the person responsible. Investigators said with advances in DNA technology, they plan to retest some items. Well, good. Unfortunately, though, this article is from 2022. What the hell is a gigawatt?
What the hell is a gigawatt?
1.21 gigawatts.
What the hell is a gigawatt?
There you go. Investigators said with advances in DNA technology, they plan to retest some items. Brian's family shared this video, her on the beach, a favorite pastime with her friends. Now those tips are bittersweet memories, her sister said. Brian has struggled with mental health issues and left behind two young daughters. Oh, man. We imagine our lives with her in it, the snap back into reality that she's not here. It's hard. It ruined our family, just changed it, never been the same. On the night Brian was found dead in the alleyway, investigators said there were people in the area. They included homeless folks who live on the street and people who park their cars there to go to nearby clubs and bars. Police hope someone with information will come forward. Let's see what this has up in it.
Search for new clues 2 decades after a homicide case goes cold. Tonight, a family hoping a large reward and new technology will help bring their sister's killer to justice.
Thank you, Kenny.
For somebody just to take the life of my sister and be walking around this whole time.
What does that mean? What's do you have any sup doc? I don't know what that means, man. Does anybody know what that means? Maybe I'm slow. I don't know what that means.
It's terrible, and so we just want justice for my sister.
It has been 21 years since 25-year-old Paula Brien was found dead after leaving a bar in San Francisco. Good evening, everyone. I'm Mike Meebeck.
And I'm Julie Hayner. Her killer has never been caught, but police and loved ones hope a new reward changes that. New at 10 tonight. KTVU's Amber Lee joins us now live from San Francisco with the message from investigators. Amber.
Julia,
I just don't know what you mean. Have you any sup doc? Have you any sup doc? I don't know what that means. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what it means. But thank you. And thank you, Richard Watts.
Outside the Hall of Justice on 850 Bryant Street, it's the home of homicide investigations. The victim's body was discovered just down the street from here, and now investigators and her family say they've never given up hope that this case will be solved.
My sister was so funny, so down to earth.
These two siblings share memories of their older sister, Paula Brien, whose homicide is an unsolved cold case.
Okay, so you meant to put, have you any, I know it's what's up doc, but it says have you any what? Like have you any what? And then it says what's up doc? No, Dana, I don't need to increase any watts. It doesn't mean anything. Read the sentence. Are you guys like being crazy, Dana? Are you like mentally ill? Let's see. Yeah, I get the part about sup doc. I get it. It's the sentence before that. It doesn't make any sense. You get someone to say, what's up, doc? Like Bugs Bunny. Okay, so let's see. Up there, if it says, have you any sup, doc? I still don't get it, man. You know? I don't think of myself as a dumb person, but I sure as hell don't understand that one. But hey, thank you. Appreciate it. Have that as a sound effect. Oh, you mean do I have the sound effect of what's up, Doc? That one? Okay, no. Jesus. Isn't it easier to say, hey, Gray, do you have a sound effect of what's up, Doc? You know, because we just did the one that said 1.1 gigawatts. Isn't it easier to say, hey, Gray, do you have the sound effect of what's up, Doc? It's just, you know, it's not math. Yeah, but your sentence doesn't make sense, man. You should say, do you have a sound effect of what's up, Doc? Not, do you have any sup, Doc? Now, no, it doesn't even say that. It says, do you any sup, Doc? That's what it says. Do you any sup, Doc? Not, do you have any? There was no clue whatsoever. And I think anybody that pretends that they know what that meant, you're cuckoo. All right. Hey, thanks, Jim Lon. Oh, yeah, let me ask the spirit box. What did that say? Let me try that really quick. Hold on. What's up, Doc? Oh, I heard it. I heard it in there. It said, what's up, Doc, in there. You guys, what's up? What's up, Doc? Give me a little bunny. Skipper. I heard it in there. All right, I heard it in there, Kenny. I heard it, man. It was why I was right there at the top. Because you don't realize... Oh, I see. So it's a trick to get somebody to say... When I read it, I thought it sounds like Bugs Bunny. But it doesn't, you know. Okay, so everybody was wrong. This is what he wanted people to do. To just randomly say sup, Doc. Like, hey, have you ever bought a package of sup, Doc? And then somebody reads it out loud. And it's just the goal is to get somebody to say sup, Doc. Okay, I get it now. Right? That's all it was. All right, you guys. It was a trick to get somebody to say sup, Doc. But it's also one of those things that not a soul in the world would understand it. But I guess they're not supposed to understand it because it's just a trick to get somebody to say sup, Doc. All right. I get it now. All right, Kenny. All right, let me play this.
Case with San Francisco police for 21 years.
I feel like it just happened yesterday. It's just something that is just always on my mind every day.
A void that can't be filled. Katie Villanueva and Carrie Walker say Brien was the best sister they could ask for.
She was the most protective older sister and always made sure I had someone walking me home from school every day.
Police say the 25-year-old was last seen around midnight on June 18, 2001, in front of a bar that's no longer there at the corner of 6th and Mission Streets.
Okay, cool. So the bar is still there. It's just not a bar. Yeah, so it would be right here. They showed a picture of it, though. Let me go right there. That looks like a good spot. Maybe they did tear it down. Kind of feels like that might have been, well. Yeah, that is sort of interesting. Maybe it is gone. Let me see if there's another building down the street. A red building with a bunch of white sort of outcropping kind of things. Let's see if I look down here. No. Let me go over there. Maybe it's over here, kind of. Wow, that's a tough one. It's supposed to be right there on that corner. I mean, I see this red building down there with some of these little white things on it.
Investigators say she was seen getting into a red sedan.
What is that? 1045 something or other? I don't really care that much, to be honest, about like the exact spot in this one.
Dan with a man with light-colored hair, around 6 feet tall, with a muscular build. They say he had an East Coast accent and a tattoo on his right arm.
There's a couple of people that they detained and talked to in regards to that fit the description, but it never panned out.
Police say less than 2 hours later, her body was discovered nearby on Harriet Street by a truck driver making a delivery.
She would have been here somewhere.
Cold case police investigators
So they just said, let's see where that is.
tell me it appears Brien. Police say less than 2 hours later, her body was discovered nearby on Harriet Street by a truck driver making a delivery.
She would have been here somewhere.
Let's see if we can find that spot. Amazingly, the drunk Google Earth person drove down this road here. I almost feel like they're pointing right there. Yep. So it wasn't right there, it was right here. Isn't that crazy? Look at, there's the same pole. See that part of the building, that pipe, you know, the downspout there, everything, the three stripes, the pole that's right there, it's all right there. Bing, 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 there's the... So that means she was found just right there. Crazy. So that was pretty close. I thought it was right there, but man, yeah, just kind of out in the open back there, oddly.
Cold case police investigators tell me it appears Brien fought for her life. She suffered blunt force trauma. They would not say if she was sexually assaulted, but that robbery was not a motive.
The victim had some significant injuries to her, and we know that she had been in the company of others some hours before she was discovered.
Police are now offering a new reward of $100,000 for information leading to the identification, arrest, and conviction of the person responsible. Investigators say with advances in DNA technology, they will retest some items along with new evidence. Brien's family shared this video. They enjoyed many trips with her to the beach, a favorite pastime, now bittersweet memories. Her sisters tell me Brien was struggling with mental health issues and left behind 2 young daughters.
Like, we imagine our lives with her in it, and to snap back into reality that she's not here, it's hard.
It ruined our family and just changed it, and we've never been the same.
On the night Brien was found dead in the alleyway, investigators say there were people in the area, including homeless folks who live on this street and people who park their cars here when going to nearby clubs and bars. Police hope someone with information will come forward. Julie?
Yeah, let's hope that reward will prompt someone to come forward and help police make an arrest in this case. Amber, thank you.
All right. That just sucks. Don't you think it's amazing, though, to have a $100,000 reward for something like that? I mean, this is one of those ones where you would think that, you know, I mean, if it was 5,000, you'd think that sounds normal, but 100,000, and that's just massive. So there was another article on the same day, right here. Paula Brien was last seen alive outside a Somo bar in June of 2001. Now, San Francisco Police Department is reopening the cold case of her killing and offering $100,000 for information leading to the arrest of her killer. It was June 18, 2001, when 25-year-old Paula Brien was last seen alive outside what was then Gina's Bar at 6th and Mission Streets. And per SFPD, she was seen with an unidentified male in a red car. About 2 hours later, her body was found in an alley 6 blocks away at 455 Harriet Street. And now, 21 years after that, well, that's still just about all the police know. Why did you put the word well in there? It's just, God. You know what I mean? That's just such a... It just dumbed down the whole article. It's like, and now, 21 years after that, well, that's still just about all police know. I mean, Jesus, it just sounded like a reporting, and then it just... All right, then down here, I guess it was a quote, but it's still stupid. Brian's photos are seen above, which is relevant because SSPD is suddenly renewing their interest in the case. I wonder if they're... I mean, you know, to put that much money into it, you almost think that they think it's part of another, like something much larger, like a serial killer or something like that, and they want to get the answer. And maybe the DNA has actually matched some other cases. They just haven't done genetic genealogy on it yet. Who are you talking to, Cindy? There's nobody with that name in here. Hey, hold on a second. But I'm sure if Elon did show... What are you guys talking about, Cindy? Like, what does Elon have to do with what we're talking about? I'm just curious. Okay, can you just quit doing that, Cindy, please? It's just like you always dumb down the chat, like, dramatically on a nightly basis. It's just wild, almost. Let's see, the San Francisco Police Department has authorized a $100,000 reward for information leading to the identification, arrest, and conviction of the suspects responsible for the homicide death of Paula Brien. Paula Brien was 25 years old, Hispanic female, and mother of 2. She was last seen near 6th Street and Mission in front of Gina's Bar. Let's see. Hold on, I gotta check something out. Darn it. No longer there. On June 18, 2001, she was seen with a Caucasian male, 5'11" to 6 feet tall, muscular in build, and wearing short pants, whatever the hell that means. Paula was in a red car with this unidentified Caucasian male. Less than 2 hours later, Paula Bryce was found deceased. Anyone with information regarding the homicide, please contact Homicide Cold Case Investigator Danielle Cunningham at 415-553-9515. Investigator Daniel dead at 415-553-1450. There's all, I mean, you know. Hold on, let me get rid of this off the screen here. If you put all this stuff right here, that's, I mean, this is where all of the phone numbers are. I don't know if you can see it or not, but maybe if I zoom in right here, there you go. Right there. See that? Tons of phone numbers down there. As seen in Facebook post above, SFPD describes that individual as a white man, approximately 5'11" to 6 feet. What's this?
Search for new clues.
That's the same one. With regards to potential suspects, SFPD Homicide Cold Case Unit Investigator Dan Cunningham tells KTVU that there were a couple of people they detained and talked to that fit the description but never panned out. But they feel that with recent advances in DNA technology, they can retest some of the decades-old evidence they still have, and tips from anyone with information would certainly be appreciated. It ruined our family, Brian's sister Carrie Walker tells KTVU, referring to the 2001 murder. Just changed it, never been the same. Per SFPD, anyone with information, again, to call all those different numbers. There they are on the screen, right there. And then that was 2022. And then weirdly, I was just like, there was an article on the 1st of this month, just 8 days ago. I mean, that's crazy. What are the odds of that? Let's see if there's anything different now. The family of a single mom killed in 2001 in San Francisco hopes an increased reward and new leads will bring them answers and justice. Paula Brien was 25 years old when she was killed. Police investigators say there is renewed hope that this cold case will be solved. Brian's family said the pain of loss lingers. Her laughter, her personality, happy all the time and strong-willed, said Norma Brien of her daughter. Norma Brien treasures a photo of Paula laughing with her sister, yet Brien has never before spoken publicly about her daughter's death or even with loved ones. She described it as self-preservation. I just shut it out. It was very hard, she said. Hard even after 24 years. Police said Paula Brien was last seen around midnight on June 18, 2001, in front of a bar that's no longer there at the corner of 6th and Mission Streets. Investigators said the single mom got into a small red Nissan or Toyota sports car. It was driven by the man seen in a composite sketch that police are now releasing, along with a second sketch showing the man's tattoo of a partial skull on his right arm. Police said the person of interest also had a tattoo on his right arm that appeared to be a partial skull. Investigators said he had green ink tattoos on his other arm. He is described as being around 6 feet tall with dark hair, I thought it was brown, and spoke with an East Coast accent. 2 years ago, the police cold case team showed KTVU crew where Paula Brien was found dead. We just saw that on Harriet Street just 2 hours later, not far from the bar. Is this... That's a different case. That's a different case right there. Now, San Francisco Police Department cold case investigator Dan Cunningham says KTVU's story about the case from 3 years ago has generated leads. Is anybody there? You guys have quit typing now. These cases are just as interesting, just as important, you guys. I believe this case can be solved. I believe there are individuals out there. Now it's a $150,000 reward for a case like this. You have to admit that that is extraordinary for a case like this. And I think that they believe that that case is related to something else, because there's no way in hell a case like that would get that high. Do you guys agree with that? I mean, $150,000 for a case where a transient gets killed. You're sort of in a, downtown where vagrants live, and she's at a bar. There's got to be something bigger that they're thinking about. Like the answer to this might solve something else. Because that's insane. And I'm glad, it's like a good thing to try to do, but I believe this case can be solved. I believe there's individuals out there that can make connections for us and may have to revisit their own memories. Paula Brien left behind 2 young daughters. Lulu Brien is now 29 years old. She describes the wound that never heals growing up without her mother. The longing, the what-ifs, how our family would have been so different, she said. Norma Brien said she doesn't harbor hate in her heart towards the person, I would, who killed her daughter. He will get back what he put out. That's the way life works. That's the law of karma, she said. Cunningham declined to speak out about the DNA evidence, saying that he doesn't want to compromise the case. He said the new leads are promising. Wow, so if they've got DNA, then maybe this will be one of those ones in a month or 2, 3 months from now we'll be able to say, hey, that's one of the ones we talked about. But that's it right there. Not a lot of information. Where's the let me see what this says.
New at 10, the family of a single mom killed in 2001 in San Francisco hopes an increased reward and new leads will bring
Christina killed.
Personality, happy all the time,
24 years ago, a cold case homicide investigatively or even to loved ones. She describes it as at the corner of 6th and Mission Streets. Investigators say the 25-year-old single mom got into a small red Nissan or Toyota sports car. It was driven by the man his right arm that appeared to be a partial skull. Police say he had green ink tattoos on his other arm. He is described as being around 6 feet tall with dark hair. He spoke with an East Coast accent.
She would have been here somewhere.
In 2022, the police department, just 2 hours later, not far from the bar. Now, investigator Dan Cunningham tells me our story from nearly 3 years ago has generated leads. Sketch.
Figure out if he has those tattoos and if, in fact, he was in San Francisco in 2001.
Police have increased the reward for information leading to the arrest and conviction of the person responsible to $150,000.
I have to revisit some of their own memories.
Paula left behind 2 young daughters.
Well, there you go. All right. Crazy. What was the stuff going on up there with this big ball, you know, whatever the hell it is, and Cindy, and it just keeps going on and on and on and on and on and on. It just never ends. You know, it's just like completely unrelated stuff. Seems like on a nightly basis. All right, so we got another one of these. Kristen Sandberg from 19. I don't know. What year is this? 80. I think it's supposed to be 98. Yeah, 1998. So this is how it sort of started. Again, it's not really in... there's not much newspapers.com on it. But they have this picture here, weirdly. It says, detectives are pinning their hopes for identity of a woman and her killer on a face sketch and other evidence. Forensic scientists, along with a police sketch artist, have developed a composite resembling the woman whose partially decomposed remains were found November 3rd off Apopka Boulevard. And this is in Florida. This is Kristen Sandberg. And I only saw that there was another article like that because it was in a video that mentioned an article. And I was like, oh, geez, she was unidentified for a while. And I can't find where, you know, the article where she was identified or anything. Apopka Drive. Looks like it's called something else. I guess it's right there, but no, it's, yeah, I don't know. So that says Wildlife Drive. It's called Lust Drive, if you can believe that. The forensic scientists, along with police sketch artists, have developed a composite resembling the woman whose partially decomposed bodies were found on November 3rd off... Wow, so November 3rd. Is that... so that was the year before. Let me see if I can find that really quick. I like try to find these little obscure references here. So let's see, it'd be November 1997. And then human remains found, something like that, in Florida. And maybe we'll get lucky. Human skeletal remains in a wildlife area identified Monday as those of a Taylorsville woman abducted last spring. No, there's just more abducted bodies. I mean, that is ridiculous. Unearthed body where none was expected. That's Kissimmee, Florida. Let me see, what happens if I put in Apo... Try that. I don't think so. Doesn't look like it's in there. Yeah, frustrating. Hate that shit. Alright. Investigators described the victim as a white, possibly Hispanic woman in her mid to late 20s. She weighed between 120 and 140 pounds and had brown, probably shoulder-length hair. Investigators discovered the remains in a field in the, 2000 block of Apopka Boulevard. Okay, let's try that. Apopka Boulevard. Okay, that's different. And they said in the 2000 block. It's going to be a different location. Not too far away, but... Alright, right there. So move that. So maybe kind of like in this area. Actually, that road, boulevard's right there. So it's going to be somewhere in this area. Well, it kind of looks like the person. The sketch just looks like that way because they scan it in. It looks stupid like that. The body was, let's see, so she weighed between 120. I knew that you'd show up on that sketch, so I was waiting for you to comment so I could tell you that she actually kind of looks like that, but not like that. Most of her teeth, which were in good condition, had fallen out of her mouth. Her legs were detached, and she was lying face down. Police estimate she had been dead 3 or 4 weeks. The body was so badly decomposed, you couldn't tell what you had, Hippler said. Forensic scientists from University of Florida transported the body to Gainesville for analysis. Their work led police to label the death a homicide, but investigators declined to give the cause of death. The information, they say, is part of an ongoing investigation. Meanwhile, anyone who might know the victim is asked to call Apopka police at, there's a phone number there. It's not relevant at this point. So, let's see, that was back in 1998 there. I'll actually show you the picture of her. It's a pretty good job, actually, by them to come up with this. And there's another different picture of her somewhere, but well, yeah, I guess this one would probably be the better, like right there, that one. It's not terrible. But all the darkness they have in there isn't really what it looked like in the original sketch. All right, then 2008. The family actually, because of the sketch, that's how they identified the body. They go, look, that's her, so that's how good it was. All right, so this is one. Let me go. This is like a large article on it, so we'll just go to the start of it, and then maybe we'll get the whole story on this one. So there you go. There's the side-by-side. Larry and Elsie Sandberg were certain the sketch of a murdered woman published in the newspaper in 1998 was their daughter, who had been missing 6 months. The nose, the chin, the lower face, the similarities were striking to the Jane Doe whose remains had been discovered under a tree off Apopka Boulevard. But police told them no, it couldn't be. They were sure their victim was Hispanic. Kristen was not. Police also saw no signs of fractured arm. Kristen had broken hers when she was 10 years old. So for years, the Sandbergs held out hope that 25-year-old Kristen would call or stop by. It never happened. And whenever the family asked about that same Jane Doe, those Jane Doe remains, police kept insisting they absolutely were not Kristen's. Only they were. On September 11th, 2006, what a joke, you guys. I mean, Jesus. On September 11th, 2006, officers showed up at the Sandbergs' door with the news. Their daughter was dead. So, I mean, this family held out hope for 8 more years when they actually already knew that their daughter was the Jane Doe that was found, but they, you know, the police were so arrogantly telling them that it wasn't their daughter, so they believed them, and then it turns out that is theirs. What a disgusting. Their daughter was dead, and police had her. And by the way, you guys, we're still doing the show, so if you guys could please help support the channel, let us have one of those, you know, move on, having better nights. It's been an absolute ghost town in here for the last, I don't know, 45 minutes or so. I mean, there were a few people that supported the channel greatly, but it'd be amazing if everybody else was helping support the channel too. You know, maybe get the buy me a coffees, the super chats. That's how you have the months where we can give even a bigger chunk of money out there. All right. Anyways, only they were the remains. On September 11, 2006, officers showed up at the Sandbergs' door with the news. Their daughter was dead. And police had her remains all these years that the Sandbergs fruitlessly searched for her. They should sue and get paid back for the time they wasted walking around. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. And they should win. God, that's just, I mean, how does that even happen? It's just dumb. All right, let's see. The Sandbergs were shocked, frustrated, angry, heartbroken. Their pain has only worsened in the past 17 months as the search for Kristen's killer has gone cold. And guess what? Had they believed her back then, the case would have been not cold. Okay? They would have asked the right people the right questions. Instead, they waited 8 years and went, oh, wow, it is her. And then you lost all those witnesses and everything because you guys so boldly pronounced that it wasn't her. Now, it does look like it. That's how the family recognized her, Zozo. Yeah, and also the sketch that you're looking at, as I just explained a minute ago, doesn't look like that. It's the scanning in that gets all the darkness and crap like that. The Sandbergs were shocked, frustrated, angry, heartbroken. Their pain has only worsened in the past 17 months as the search for Kristen's killer has gone cold. They're the ones that made it a cold case, said Terry Gagney, Kristen's older sister. Yeah, exactly. I totally agree. It probably would have been solved if they'd listened to us from the beginning. Apopka police office offer no detailed explanation about what went wrong. Commander Jerome Miller, who now supervises investigations but was never involved in the case, said police didn't follow up on the Sandbergs' call because police thought the victim was Hispanic. You guys are idiots. You know, white and Hispanic are in the same category, you know. He also said several jurisdictions were involved, and he is not sure if that created any gaps in the investigation. I think everybody has put their best foot forward. No, he didn't. He said the homicide investigation is still active, but he admitted it is cold. We've just exhausted all the leads we have, he said. Police are submitting the case for inclusion in a deck of playing cards that will feature cold cases and be distributed in jails and prisons across the state. They hope it will generate tips. The Sandbergs don't think police are doing enough. They haven't heard from anyone in more than 6 months, and They've been told the Apopka Police Department doesn't have the resources to investigate a case as old as Kristen's. Police say that although they don't investigate many homicides, they give each case equal attention. We're looking to have someone be accountable for letting us believe she was missing when she was dead, Larry Sandberg said. I mean, I totally agree with this, you know. The Sandbergs last heard from their daughter October 2nd, 1997. And based on that, she was found in November, right? That's what and that was 1997. So that was October 2nd. And then this first article up there that we were reading, this one says that I think it was found in November of the year before. Yeah, November 3rd. So it wasn't even a month out, you know, like right around exactly a month later is when the body was found. They go, oh, that's our daughter. And why didn't they, by the way, why didn't they bring him in and, you know, have him look or test or do something, for God's sake? The Sandbergs last heard from their daughter October 2nd, 1997. Kristen Sandberg had promised she would call the next day. So that's likely, if she was going to call the next day, maybe that's when she died. When Kristen says she's going to do something, she does, Elsie Sandberg said. I think she was killed that weekend. On November 3rd, 1997, a month later, Apopka police investigated remains found off Apopka Boulevard. They estimated the woman, who was discovered with some clothing and gold earrings, had been dead 3 or 4 weeks. The Sandbergs said forensic anthropologists determined their daughter had been stabbed. The knife had nicked a rib. In March of 1998, police sought help from the public to identify the woman, and a sketch artist drew a portrait that was published in the Orlando Sentinel. That's her. That's got to be her, Elsie Sandberg said, recalling her thoughts when she saw the paper. But she and Gagne called police, but said they could hardly get past the front desk. The Sandbergs kept up their hopes that their daughter had just vanished and would reappear. Her sister contacted psychics. That was your first problem. Contacted psychics and talk show hosts. Her father searched internet databases and called every Kristen Sandberg he could find. They put birthday messages in the newspaper every day after work. For 2 years, her sister drove down a street Kristen Sandberg used to frequent, and it's all because these idiots wouldn't check. In 2003, Elsie Sandberg submitted Kristen's dental records to authorities, hoping for some sort of identification. Still nagged by the Jane Doe, Elsie Sandberg called police again in April 2006 and was told the remains absolutely were not her daughter's. About 5 months later, officials with the Apopka and Orlando Police Departments and the Orange County Sheriff's Office showed up with the news. The match had been confirmed through dental records. You mean the dental records that were submitted? Elsie Sandberg had submitted 3 years before. Frustrated with the incompetence. I mean, that is ridiculous. She puts in these dental records, and then 3 years later, somebody finally wants to take a look at it. I mean, give me a break. Frustrated with the incompetence of the Apopka Police Department investigation, the Sandbergs are weighing their options with an attorney. They also think their daughter's case wasn't a high priority because Kristen Sandberg wasn't a good girl. She had suffered behavioral problems since her teenage years and had been arrested and wasn't holding down a steady job. There's something wrong with the system, and the police department excuses of being short of help. Larry Sandberg said a death means nothing to them. It's just another number to them. Man, isn't that just ridiculous, you guys? I don't think I've ever heard anything quite as just blatantly idiotic. All right, here's the Project Cold Case write-up on it. And that was her as a kid. Let's see. If you've met her, You would have loved her, Terry Gagne said of her sister, Kristen Sandberg. Kristen was murdered on October 3rd, 1997, and her body was found in a field in Apopka, Florida. Well, we don't know if it was October 3rd. That's just when she last contacted the family. While it was determined that her cause of death was from stab wounds, the question of who murdered her remains unanswered. Kristen was the youngest of 5 children. Gagne, her eldest sister, and Julie Sandberg, her second eldest sister, said they knew the baby of the family was special from a very young age. Elsie Sandberg, Kristen's mother, said that her youngest daughter was always wise beyond her years. She was one of those kids that just got bored really easily in school. Gagne said, we believe she was one of those gifted students. Larry Sandberg, Kristen's father, was in the Navy, so the family moved around a lot. Hawaii was Kristen's favorite of all of the places, and the family now lives in Orlando, Florida, where Kristen went missing from. When they lived in California, Elsie remembers Kristen had to be the classroom helper. She ended up teaching all the kids how to use computers at school, the mother said. The family said that Kristen was also very creative, writing poetry, teaching herself how to play the piano, and eventually playing flute in the high school band. Her sisters remember that their youngest sibling was someone who would do anything for others. When Kristen reached adolescence, they said she was dedicated to trying to give to the less fortunate. She would steal from all of us to give to the poor, Gagne said. The only person with it was that, the only problem with it was that she was stealing from her own family members. But I think that's actually better than stealing from other people, right? I mean, it's like, that could be just looked at, I'm just taking our money and giving it to the poor. In high school, the family said Kristen took a wrong turn and ended up hanging out with the wrong crowd. She got into drugs and alcohol and eventually dropped out of school, but her family was determined to help her down the right path and helped her get her GED. The family also tried to help her out, taking her to the doctors to get tested for a chemical imbalance. The results that came back were surprising. They came back and told my parents that she wasn't the one with the problems, but rather they were, Gagne said. That was Kristen. She was really good at manipulating people. Or maybe she was telling him the truth, and you don't want to admit it. Even with her turns down the wrong path, the family said she always kept them a priority. Julie remembers that when she was in her 30s, she ended up moving back home to live with her parents and Kristen after a breakup. She and Kristen shared the same room. She shared a day bed, and we would just lay there and read Ellen DeGeneres books together, Julie said. That's like the last book in the world you'd want to read. Julie said that the main thing she remembers about her sister, maybe that might even be what part of the problem was, is reading those damn books. Julie said that the main thing she remembers about her sister is that they shared a lot of the same personality traits and very similar regardless of the 11-year gap between them. Gagne also said had a son, Sean, who was born when Kristen was 12 years old. Elsie and Larry watched their grandson a lot, and Gagne said that Kristen and Sean grew up close, having somewhat of a brother-sister relationship. I ended up splitting from my husband when Sean was young, so it was just me and him most of the time, Gagne said. Anytime we did something, though, we made sure we invited Kristen. Sean was the last person in the family to see Kristen alive after she surprised him at school on his birthday to give him money. Her mother was the last one to talk to her on the phone. No matter what she did, she always kept in touch, Elsie said. The fact that the Sandbergs hadn't heard from Kristen in a few days wasn't too strange, but once it started to turn into weeks and months, the family filed a missing persons report. Gagne said they really started to worry when Kristen started missing big family events like their father undergoing multiple surgeries. At the time that Kristen went missing, the police station in Apopka, Florida, about 20 miles from Orlando, was dealing with a case of a body found in an empty lot. The station posted a sketch of what they believe the person looked like in the Orlando Sentinel, and when Gagne saw it, she said that even though the sketch did not match her sister, she had a gut feeling it was Kristen. The station told her she was wrong and swore that the woman was Hispanic and 5'6", which Gagne said her sister was 5'2" at the most. Everything fit the bill except the description. Except her legs were detached, so how the hell would you know how tall she was? What, you put the... I mean, I guess you could put the legs there, but you... It's stupid. The family sent in dental records in 1998. Nah, that was 2003. And waited for 8 years until the station finally got around to comparing them. No, it was 2003. The news came in 2006, and the sisters said the news hit everyone hard. They said that they have multiple theories of who could have murdered their sister. Gagne said one of the people they suspected was questioned via a phone interview by the police station and never brought in for questioning, and the other is serving time for other murders he committed but still was never questioned about Kristen. The case has since been left cold with no detective working in Apopka. The family said that they were last told that the case got moved to Orlando Police Station because Kristen was reported missing out of Orlando. When Kristen was alive, she met 3 of her nephews and one of her nieces. And since her passing, the family has expanded to eventually what would be Kristen's great nieces and great nephews. The sisters said that all of the children ask and know about their late aunt. The Sandbergs continue to ensure that Kristen's memory still lives on. Project Cold Case reached out to law enforcement for a statement. We will update the story with any updates. And they didn't. So there she is right there.
Riviera spoke with her family, and Ray, they are still very frustrated.
They are, Len, and this is why. Take a look at this picture. That right there is the initial sketch that came out after Kristen Sandberg's body was discovered. And look at Kristen's picture. You can see the resemblance, but still the family did not get a positive identification until 9 years later, 9 years after she disappeared. And 25 years after her murder, there is still no justice. Kristen Sandberg flood over her fans. The article.
I got all that damn music in there. Let's see. 25 years later, police have no suspects. Her mom, Elsie, said she spoke with her daughter last and had planned on seeing her soon. We went around, all of us, checked with friends, phone numbers, and everything, and we just never heard from her. Back in the late 90s, police released a sketch of a woman, at the time her identity unknown. So right away I called the number, spoke to the hotline, whatever. They convinced me that it wasn't her. Tried to convince me it wasn't her, she said. The height was wrong. It said something about being of Hispanic or Native American. Still, the family kept investigating on their own, even obtaining Kristen's dental records to compare to the woman's remains. They were found. Authorities said it was Kristen, and they said it wasn't her until 2006. September 11, 2006, nearly a decade after Sandberg went missing, police walked up to Elsie's door and let her know is what it's supposed to say, that the remains were Kristen's. There was a police officer, a chaplain, and a sheriff. Her family acknowledges that Kristen made some poor choices. She was arrested for theft and prostitution, and her family believes she may have been involved in drugs. So this is another one of those ones where, she is probably, I'm just saying, anytime a sex worker is, pretty much abducted and killed, I think those are almost always a serial killer. I mean, it's just, what other, because that means that person probably did it again to somebody else. You know, like something just didn't randomly go bad on that one. So maybe your case wasn't important. I don't know. Yeah, and that's exactly right though. When, you know, when they realize it's a sex worker or somebody in the drugs, they put it way down on the triage list. You know, it's like way down there. Kristen's ashes are at her mother's house, where the mother's heart still hurts. I think that if she had been on the right path, she would have made a difference because she was so smart, her sister said, adding that there's no closure. And I think we all know that people like that were really intelligent people and they got into drugs and just kind of ruined their whole life. This is on the unidentified wiki page. See, that looks more like that sketch right there, I think. You know, I mean, it's not a, like, for sketches go, it's not as bad as some of the other ones that we see that don't look anything like the one from yesterday, for God's sakes. That doesn't even look like anything. Kristen was last heard from October 2nd, 1997, and promised to call her parents. I think they said October 3rd, and that's maybe true because she was supposed to come over or call the next day, and she didn't, so maybe the 3rd was a good guess. 1 month later, authorities responded to an area off Apopka Boulevard where human remains had been discovered under a tree. An examination determined that the victim was a Hispanic woman, at least 5'6", who had been stabbed to death 3 to 4 weeks earlier. The following year, a sketch was published in newspapers, leading the Sandbergs to believe that the victim was their missing daughter. Although the date of death, facial characteristics, and previously broken arm all matched Kristen, authorities discounted her as a potential identity due to their belief that the victim was Hispanic. In April of 2003, Kristen's mother submitted dental records to the Orange County authorities, hoping that they could compare to the unidentified woman found in 1997. In September 2006, investigators visited the Sandberg home to inform them that the remains found in 1997 had been identified as Kristen. Man, what a joke. Jesus, that's... like that one, you know, doesn't look exactly like that, but you could see, like, if you were somebody that knew her, you might go, you know, that does kind of, I mean, like, that does look similar. You can't say that doesn't. Even though, you know, obviously the sketch is harsher looking, etc. Well, anyways, there you go, you guys. Those are the cases for tonight. So tonight we've only got 2 coffees. We had 2 people. Without those 2 people, we'd be at, I'd say about like a 1/6 of the goal. I mean, so come on, you guys, if you're out there, please help support the channel. See if we can have keep moving forward this month, have better nights. These cases are interesting too. All right. So I don't know if anybody's here, but what I wanted to do is get some notes for, like, what are the things, and this is, now we're referring to the Koberger case, so if you don't want to talk about that, you don't have to be here. So what are things that people say out there that you keep hearing as rumors, or things that people have problems with? I want to, like, generate a list of those things. I'm going to do one on the no blood mentioned on the 911 call. I'm going to do one on that, okay? That's what I'm going to do. So what are the other ones? I've already got that one, but I need some other ones. Anybody? And if not, if I don't get an answer in like 30 seconds, I'm going to just call it a night. 8-hour phone delay. Jeez. I mean, but that's one of those ones that there isn't really an answer other than they're just, it was 4 in the morning and, they go to sleep finally and then get up at 10:30. And, I mean, maybe I could throw it in there as, let's see. Why did they wait so long to call 911? All right. I need ones that actually have, like, common sense answers. Yeah, that Dylan and it was drunk and dreaming. I don't even know what that means. Like, what are you talking about? Oh, yeah. The home being taken down. I think that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like, how long do you leave it there for? Just decades? I mean, what he's going to have a... Let's say he loses, doesn't appeal, and then you have to wait till the appeal gets a result, and then if he's offered a trial, we got to wait another 10 years, and there's this house just sitting there. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. No, he wasn't in the hallway. Those are all rumors that were told early on. I guess I could put all these down, though, because those are all things people say. See, there's a difference between rumors and other things. It's a House by Jim Wan. Oh, yeah, the other DNA found. I don't really have any, like, that one, we don't know when the DNA was. It's a party house. There could have been all kinds of parties, and I'm not against them testing it or whatever and trying to figure out what it is. But I think they probably know that the blood was an old sample and it wasn't something that was new. Where did Koberger hide the bloody clothes? We don't know, but that's not what I'm looking at the claims that people are stuck on. There's people out there that they always make the same comments over and 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 over again. Right. Right. Steve Gonzalez just was on an interview, and I thought that was pretty interesting. I think he believes, like I think there's a good possibility that Koberger is going to try to have a plea deal in this case. That's what I think. And I think there's such a mountain of evidence that it's overwhelming to them. And, Steve Gonzalez, I think, knows that. And, Koberger's going to try to do a plea deal, but he doesn't want him to be allowed to do that. He wants him to get the death penalty. And I totally get it, man. If you're that confident, and I think they are for a good reason. I think there's information. I think the judge sees it too. Like, the judge has already seen, he has seen the case. He's looked at it. That's why you see him shaking his head when he sees Ann Taylor arguing these ridiculous points that are meaningless. And I think even pro-burgers have to realize how stupid some of the arguments she makes are. And yet you still sit around clapping as if she did good. Yeah, I think he's going to try, though. He was saying another random college guy was pulled over and released the same night. Okay, so what? Yeah, they do the Brett Kopak, Yeah, we don't know where he hid there's 16 minutes of missing time after leaving the house, and then the phone pinging near Blaine, Idaho. So, it's somewhere in there. He probably got rid of the same stuff that he put into a plastic bag in his vehicle. Now, he could have just driven somewhere and put it into a random dumpster somewhere. And, like the trash, maybe he planned it where the trash was going to be picked up the next day or something. I don't know. Yeah, the drug involvement. Yeah, that's just so dumb. Like, okay, the cartel hit. Okay, that's one of them. Cartel hit. Jesus. What else? Come on, you guys. Yeah, how didn't the girls hear screaming? You know why? Because they didn't scream. That's simple. How did the survivors not hear screaming? I mean, you could almost do a drum roll on that one. How did the survivors not hear screaming? Because none of the, I mean, I don't know what you say. None of the victims screamed. I mean, it's so stupid. Okay? Screaming. None of the victims screamed. These guys are like, their brains don't work. I don't agree with you, Lady of Cali. I know that you want it to be, so the jury can walk around, blah, 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 blah. Do you know how many times people say that? It doesn't matter, man. There's been thousands and thousands of cases where people go, they take photographs. Jodi Arias, for example. They didn't bring the jury out there. The house was still there. Bathroom was the same. It's just ludicrous. You've got to let things move forward. They had their time to take 1,000 photographs, do the Faro scans, the 3D scans, etc., etc., etc. The jury doesn't need to be in the house or any of that stuff. They'll see how creepy it is anyways with the 3D models, the crime scene photographs, etc. I think it's just, I don't even know what the hell it is. I think people just want it to still be sitting there because they missed out on being able to visit it or something. It just, to me, it's the lamest argument I've ever heard. Like, you know when there's a murder in a downtown city, they don't sit there and cordon off that little portion where the murder took place for 3 years waiting for a trial. You know, that's not fair. They should have kept it there. You know, they should have kept that street blocked off all that time. Leave the blood just sit there on the ground for 3 years. They should have put a tent over it and just let it sit there until the trial so the jury could walk by it. That's insane, right? It's the same thing with the house. It's just, there's a certain amount of time. It was over a year the freaking defense had a chance to get in there, take its photographs, etc. Yeah, who cares, Newscrasher? That's not even interesting at all. Let's see, the only benefit of keeping the house is to see how easy it was to watch from the window. Yeah, but you can just easily do that. Like, I have a 3D model. Do a really, like a better one with the landscape in it. It's simple. And I'm sure they have the Faro scans out there. Oh my God. That doesn't even make any sense. Who cares? You know what's crazy? Bundy was born 11/24. BK was 11/21. Whoa. The house was 11/22. Okay? Month and year was 11/20. Ah, wow. What about 11/23? You left out that one. The neighbor drove an Elantra and was a chef. Where does that one come from, Lisa? I haven't heard that one. Yeah, just don't worry about the house being taken down. It's absolutely irrelevant. I mean, how long do you let it sit there? If you were the property owner, how long do you think it would be justified to let that house sit there? 10 years? You know, all the appeals? I mean, everybody just think through things sometimes. Did the dog bark during the crimes? If so, why didn't the surviving roommates suspect something was going on? I don't know, because it's a puppy. They bark. Seen if it under your videos. I don't know what that means. Oh, yeah. I see Lisa Valenzuela reading the comments. We read the same one. They're just nuts, like these people out there. Unreal. I think I'll go through some of those. And hey, if you want to, Lisa Valenzuela, why don't you dig down through there? I'm actually going to do screenshots of all the people that bring up, without their name. I'll blur out their name, but the part about why did they wait so long to call, not that one, the no blood on the 911 call. There's no mention of it. You know what's interesting though, you guys? Remember, you know the PCA, when they're describing, they didn't mention blood one time. They didn't mention one time. But you know who did? The Latah County, I don't know if she was like the coroner. Okay? She mentioned it. She said it was just really bloody in there. Okay, so what we're saying is that the girls and the surviving roommates and their friends cleaned up the crime scene. And then after law enforcement walked through, and then later in the day, the coroner got there, all the victims started bleeding again and put blood all over the floor. That's amazing. Woo! Unbelievable. People saying that the DNA on the sheath isn't proof of someone could have planted it. Yeah, the problem is when they say could have, it is possible, Lindsay, but it's like 1 in a million. Like just something that is absurd. That somebody planted it and put Kohberger's DNA on it. And then they drove around in an Elantra too to make it look like Kohberger was the one, because they put the knife sheath and they drove an Elantra. And then they got really lucky realizing that Kohberger himself was just driving around right next to the house that same night. Ha! That's weird. Okay, we'll do that one. I'll have to throw that one in there. Because see, that's one of those ones that is easily able to be squashed with logic and reason. All right, what else is there? I'm looking for the things that when you're out there and you see it, you just go, God, that's stupid. I heard the recording and it sounds real. What recording, Bernice Bratt? What are you talking about? No, it's not. You didn't hear the recording off of the 1112 King Road camera. That's fake. That's not real. Sorry. How did Dylan run down to Bethany's room and not see Xana? Because I've gone over it 100 times, Bernice Pratt. Have you been gone for a long time? You seem like you're even more confused now than you used to be. It's weird. Let's see. Was that... what's this YouTube talk about Dylan's dad being arrested again? What does that have to do with... I don't know. I don't even know anything about it. Who cares? But Gray, the hoodie guy, fled to Africa. Oh yeah, the guy that was walking with them. He seemed kind of suspicious for a while. Yeah, well, jeez. Okay, well, I guess that's their thing. Here, I'll show you in a second. Let me load this thing up. All right, guys, but please help support the channel tonight. We're trying to get the months going here, have some better nights to make up for some of the lesser ones. We started off really well with a couple generous people, and then since then it's been absolutely dead as a doornail. So if you're out there and you have the ability to support the channel, you know all the great stuff that we do. It allows me to keep doing the shows. We do a lot of great stuff at the end of each month, and need your support to be able to do that. And I hope I'm not talking to a brick wall yet again. That seems like whenever I try to make the sales pitch for the channel, it's responded with blank. It's just, it's weird. It's like I'm the one that you should be listening to, you know. I'm telling you where we're at. Let's see. Here we go. Well, if you're there, Bernice Brad, I'm going to show you here in a second. All right. So make sure you're still here. We also have the. What do you mean again? Again what, Jenny Hom? What are you talking about? Again what? You need to have a full sentence. Nobody knows what you're saying. There's no conspiracy here. This isn't JFK or Roswell. Right. Alright, here we go. We got the head camera, and here we go. Up the stairs, and look. See, Xana is in a room over there that you could see from when you're near the bathroom. You could see her in the room, probably because the door was slightly open. Right through this wall is Cobra. Let's see. Dylan Mortensen would have ran basically. Here, let's just do it from above. Watch. Oh, that's way up there. Okay, well anyways, you can see it right here, watch. That doesn't need to be unhidden. Look. To that. Dylan runs out like this and then down these stairs. Xana is way over here. God dang it, that's hard. Xana is way over here in this room. So you see that Brenda Spratt? Right there, running this way, down the stairs. When you say, how does she not see Xana? Xana's in the room. Over there. She's not on the floor in the hallway. When you read the PCA, it says, when I reached the bathroom, I could see Xana on the floor in the room. Right? And then upon entering the room, they could see Ethan. Alright, so that means Ethan was off to the side from the door. And I'm thinking maybe he was even the one that was on the bed. But I don't know exactly where the bed was in that room. So, don't know. Anyways, that makes sense. Brenda Spratt. Hey, Jenny Ham, what do you mean by again? You just typed in the word again. I don't see any more of your comments anywhere above that. We're going to need to have an answer for that real soon. I'm going to give you another 30 seconds. Let's see. All right, okay, cool. Yeah, so the room that she was in was right over there. As a matter of fact, let me just try to turn it like that. Look. See, that's actually Dylan Mortensen standing in that room over there, okay? So she would have came out of that door, ran this way and down, and then Bethany Funk is right below this spot right here. So right below that character that's standing there. Got about another 20 seconds, Jenny. We're going to have to get rid of you off the channel, unfortunately. Sigma Chi is involved. They're not involved in anything. Oh, Sigma Chi is involved since they called Ethan's friend. Okay. Yeah, I'll put that one in there. They're still talking about that? Where do you guys watch this stuff? I mean, I watched some of these people, you know, a year ago, but, you know, just to sort of, because, like, they were actually attacking me, too. It was weird. Ham was here a couple nights ago and was okay. Okay, well, why are they just typing the word again? Does that mean anything to you? But anyways, any other suggestions, you guys? I think I'm going to take off. You got anything else? Yeah, well, I thought it said screw, but it's scared. It's obviously scared because, okay, I'll put that in there. I'm screwed. I thought it said that too, but contextually, it obviously doesn't say that. God, news crasher. You are kind of a crasher, aren't you? You make things not interesting. So I'm gonna Put you on timeout for 10 minutes or so. Maybe come back after the show's over. Hey, my father's alibi. We were just talking about your... Did you see that? We were talking about a case from 2001 earlier this evening. I don't know if you were here, but it was crazy because it was like right next to... let's see, where is that? No, that wasn't it. Kristen Sandberg, Paula Brien. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we lost it. Where the hell was that? That's gate. Where the heck is the? Maybe it's up here, right here. There we go. So the case we were just doing tonight, randomly. Look at this. Oh shoot! I didn't put it underneath the right. Was that Brien? The Brien one? Let's see. Paula Brien. Yeah. Okay. So these need to be moved up. Hold on. See, look at that. It was crazy. So this girl named Paula Brien, amazingly, there's a $150,000 reward for a case that normally wouldn't get really strange. But she was at this bar right on this corner, and look how crazy it is, because your mom lived right here, right at 44 McAllister Street, and this is right there, 2001, and then this lady's body was found right down here in this alley right here, stabbed to death. But there's a $150,000 reward for that. But I thought it was just really strange how close that case was to, it's like right in there. And I was thinking, man, what was his... They have a person, they have a sketch of the person. They were like 6 feet tall, 200 pounds, with a skull tattoo. And so it didn't look like your dad, but I was just like, man, it's pretty weird, that close. I mean, that's like just a couple hundred yards in that one situation. I'm not even sure what I was talking about before, but I think that's it. I think I'll spin the wheel over here. Now let's see what happens. Who's gonna win? Who's gonna win? Looks like GSU PM again. Might have to figure out something else. Alright. I guess, we'll have to figure out, maybe she wants some other item somewhere. Alright, so thank you tonight to Sandy Shirley, gifted a membership, Alley Cake, Moofies, Amber Maiden, Cinnamon Freak, Alley Cake, Moofies, Amber Maiden, then Cheryl Moran. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Here's what's strange, you guys. Then we had GSU PM. If you take GSU PM and Cheryl Moran and then her 10 gifted memberships, well, I guess that's different than that. So we got that. So then GSU PM did a double cat eye. Then we had K-Me, Amber Maiden. Then I gifted 5. Then Wendy Woobles gifted 5. Then Jim Lawn, Kenny Powers, Richard Watts, Kenny Powers again, Jim Lawn. Then some kind of weird name, Big Balls, Fraud Detection. Michelle H., Jim Lawn, and My Father's Alibi. Very low number of people, but got really fortunate with a few different individuals there. And then also we had 2 coffees, Lisa Valenzuela, and Paulette Leonard. All right, you guys. Well, thanks for reaching the goal, at least on a night where we're not going over one of the really big cases. But if you can think of any more sort of conspiracy stuff that people have out there, let me know, and I'll add it to my list here. All right. So thank you all for being here tonight. We will see you tomorrow. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, flag rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Grego's gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his pector. With all respect, y'all, just remember I've a temper fucking checked ya. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody, talk to you later. What video? Am I coming on with video tomorrow? I don't know what that means. All right, everybody. Thank you. I mean, a video like I've been putting out videos?